This is the incredible true story of Captain Richard Phillips. It is a harrowing account of survival, a testament to one man's courage when faced with the unthinkable. It's the story of how he fought to protect his crew from pirates on the high seas, and how, when he was ripped away from them, he stared into the face of utter terror and refused to break. Presented by Bollywood's Low Screen, this is Captain Phillips. Our story plunges us into the dust and desperation of Somalia. Here, in a land stripped of hope, men gather. Guns are not just carried. They are clutched, a symbol of the only power left. A grizzled pirate leader, his voice raspy with authority, declares that their next prize must be bigger, a greater haul from the vast sea. These are pirates born from poverty and violence. And watching them are the young men of the village, their eyes hollow with hunger. The dangerous call of the sea is a whisper of escape, a promise of wealth that makes them willing to risk everything. With a silent, deadly purpose, two small, swift skiffs and a larger mothership slice through the waves, leaving the desperate shore behind. On the open water, they become predators. Their eyes, sharp and patient, scan the horizon, assessing the colossal ships that ply the trade routes. Most are fortresses' impossible targets. But then, through the shimmering heat, they see it. A lone vessel, isolated from the herd, forging a path to Mombasa. These are no ordinary thieves. They are ghosts in the machine. They have infiltrated the ship's communication frequency, listening to every word, an invisible predator tracking its prey. They know her route. They know her name. And they know she is steaming directly towards them. Aboard that very ship, the Maersk Alabama, an uneasy calm prevails. This is a cargo ship, a world of steel and routine, helmed by its captain, Richard Phillips. Richard is a man of the sea, and his instincts are sharp. He knows this stretch of ocean is a hunting ground, a place where danger lurks just beneath the waves. He is already on edge, every sense heightened. Raising his binoculars, his gaze sweeps across the endless blue. And then he freezes. Two specks, impossibly small, are racing toward his ship with a sinister speed. They are distant, but the radar screen tells a different, more frightening story. A cold, electronic confirmation of his deepest fears. He is being followed. A knot of dread tightens in his stomach. Hard to port, he commands, his voice steady, testing his theory. The colossal ship begins its slow turn. But on the radar, the two dots mirror the maneuver perfectly, relentlessly closing the distance. And in that stomach-lurching moment, Richard Phillips understands. The chilling certainty crystallizes in his gut. These are pirates, and they're coming for his ship. His hand is steady as he radios the UK maritime trade operation in Dubai, his voice tight, controlled, betraying none of the chaos erupting inside him. The operator's voice comes back, 1,000 miles away, impossibly calm. Your complaint is registered, Captain. Secure all doors. They could just be fishermen. They are not fishermen, Richard says, his voice grim as he cuts the connection. The line to the outside world feels useless, a link to a world that cannot help him now. He raises his binoculars one last time. The boats are terrifyingly close now, only a mile out. The image swims into focus. He doesn't just see men anymore. He sees the glint of steel in the harsh sun. He sees the unmistakable, brutal shape of assault rifles. The blood runs cold in his veins. All doubt evaporates, replaced by a single, terrifying truth. It is confirmed. They're being hunted. With a heart pounding against his ribs, Captain Phillips grabs the radio handset again. His last attempt to reach anyone had dissolved into useless static. This time, he knows his enemies are listening. He knows the pirates are tuned to his frequency, hanging on every word. A desperate, brilliant gamble forms in his mind. He speaks into the radio, his voice a mask of calm authority. This is Maersk Alabama. We have two hostile boats in pursuit. They are armed. It's possible their mothership is trailing behind them. He lets the words hang in the air, a carefully laid trap. Then, in the next breath, Phillips's voice transforms. It drops lower, hardening into a crisp, military cadence that is not his own. Copy that, Alabama, he says, acting out a phantom conversation for his deadly audience. An army helicopter will be with you in 5 minutes. It's a complete fabrication. There is no helicopter. There was no connection. It is a lie spoken into the void, a prayer aimed directly at his pursuers. And it works. Out on the churning sea, the deception seeds chaos. One of the two pirate skiffs abruptly veers away, its occupants unwilling to bet their lives against the phantom roar of helicopter blades. Further back, on the larger mothership, the older pirate leader feels a knot of fear tighten in his chest. He, too, gets cold feet and throttles back, letting the prize slip away. But one boat remains. A single skiff with 4 relentless pirates, their determination overriding their fear. They press on, a hornet buzzing furiously behind the colossal ship. The fight isn't over. We have to lose them in the waves. Captain Phillips yells, his mind racing. He will use the very size of his ship as a weapon. He orders the engine's speed to be manipulated, the massive rudder thrown hard to one side, then the other. The gigantic vessel lurches and weaves, churning the ocean into a violent, boiling cauldron. Monstrous waves, walls of white water, erupt from the ship's hull, crashing down with incredible force. The tiny pirate skiff is tossed and battered, fighting a battle against a sea that has suddenly turned on them. The pressure is too much. With a sickening lurch and a plume of black smoke, their engine breaks down. Silence falls on the bridge of the Maersk Alabama as she steams away, leaving the disabled pirates bobbing helplessly in her wake. They are safe. For now. That night, an uneasy tension hangs heavy in the air as the crew gathers. The relief of their narrow escape is already fading, replaced by the chilling, unspoken question, what do we do if they come back? We will stop them the way we stopped them today, Captain Phillips says, his voice projecting a confidence he doesn't truly feel. But fear has already taken root. That's not our job. One of the crewmen blurts out, his voice shaking with a mixture of anger and terror. Our job is to move the ship from one place to another, not fight off pirates. Why don't we just take another route? Get us far away from them. If we drive the ship at full speed, we could be 150 miles away from this hell in 8 hours. Captain Phillips looks at the desperate faces of his men. He explains the grim, terrible reality of their position, the area of Africa we are in now. He begins, his voice low and serious. There are 5 different groups of pirates working these waters. We would have to face a new threat every 100 miles. Our only real choice is to push forward to our destination, to Mombasa. With heavy hearts, they agree. They will hold the course. But the morning brings no salvation. As the sun rises, it illuminates a familiar, terrifying shape on the horizon. It's them, the same pirates. Their engine is fixed, and their determination has been forged into a burning vengeance. They are following the ship again. Captain Phillips scrambles for the radio, and this time, a connection crackles to life. He gets through to the maritime authorities. This is the Maersk Alabama. Some looters are going to attack our ship. The voice on the other end is distant, stretched thin. We will try to send help to you soon, it says. The word try hangs in the air, offering almost no comfort. Knowing they're on their own, Captain Phillips orders their last line of defense. With a deafening roar, the ship's high-pressure water pumps spring to life, erupting in powerful jets around the hull. A desperate, churning wall of water to keep the wolves from their door. They fight back, but the onslaught is relentless. They're saved from one attack, only to be overwhelmed by the next. And now, the fight is over. The 4 pirates have reached the ship's bridge. A cold wave of defeat washes over Captain Phillips. He understands his ship is no longer his. It is in their custody. His immediate, desperate thought is for his crew. He grabs the ship's internal communication system, his voice a low, urgent command that echoes through the vessel. All crew, get down to the engine room and lock it down. I will not have any prisoners. He adds a lifeline, a secret key that will mean life or death. As long as I don't say the password, supper time. Before an order, no one comes out. Seconds later, the 4 pirates burst onto the bridge, capturing Captain Phillips and 2 of his men. Their leader, a gaunt man named Muse, offers a chillingly calm reassurance. You don't have to be afraid, he says, his eyes betraying a dangerous intensity. We have not come here to kill anyone. We have come to make a deal. Captain Phillips tries to downplay the prize, to make them believe this massive vessel is a worthless haul. There's only food and documents on this entire ship, he bluffs. We only have $30,000. If you want, you can take the money and leave. Muse lets out a short, sharp laugh, full of contempt. We are not beggars, he says. He gestures to the intercom. You call all your friends up on the deck. With a rifle digging in his back, Captain Phillips keys the mic. His voice echoes through the silent ship. All crew, come up. But he deliberately, prayerfully, omits the 2 crucial words, supper time. Down below, in the stifling darkness, the crew hears the order, and the silence that follows it. They understand. No one moves. The ship's main power suddenly cuts out, plunging the bridge into the eerie glow of emergency lights. How'd it shut down? Muse demands, his voice sharp with suspicion. We drove it too fast. Phillips lies, his mind racing. Maybe there was something wrong with it. The pirates are losing patience. One of them grabs the intercom and screams into it, his voice a furious roar. All the people below, if you don't come up as soon as possible, we will kill one of your men every minute. But even with this terrifying threat hanging over them, no one comes up. It was Captain Phillips's order. They trust him. No one will come out until they hear the password. Phillips and his captured men desperately try to convince Muse not to kill anyone. Frustrated and enraged, Muse makes a decision. I want to go down and check, he declares. He wants to find all the people and drag them up himself. The emergency lights are on, but it's closed off down there. Phillips says, try to stall. If the power's out, we won't see anything. As he says this, the conversation from their own walkie-talkies crackles to life, broadcasting every word. Down in the engine room, the hidden crew hears it all. They understand with a jolt of terror that the pirates are coming, and they realize the faint glow of the emergency lights, their only guide in the darkness, will also be the beacon that leads the pirates right to them. In a silent panic, they know what they must do. One of them scrambles to turn off the generator, while another moves to get water. Into the dark, metallic bowels of the ship they descend. Captain Phillips, the pirate leader Muse, and one of his men. This begins a desperate, silent battle of wits. Phillips deliberately tries to lead them down the wrong corridors, hoping to buy his men precious time. But Muse is sharp. His eyes dart to a ship's schematic on the wall, and the deception is over. He sees the layout clearly. The engine room is up ahead. We go to the engine room first. Muse commands, his voice hard. That is where all the problems have started. Phillips, thinking fast, counters with a clever, life-saving improvisation. We need to get drinking water first, he insists. With the power out, there's no light, and the engine room will be dangerously hot. It's a believable delay. Muse agrees. The three of them head for a water station. But a crew member is already there, also sent on the same mission. Phillips spots his man hiding in the pitch-black cold storage, a heart-stopping moment of near discovery. As Muse's barefoot man steps into the area, Phillips seizes the opportunity. Be careful, he warns the pirate, his voice layered with meaning. You're not wearing anything on your feet. You could get hurt in here. The pirate, oblivious, just grunts. The three of them leave. Phillips has just saved his man from being found. But the hidden crewman heard everything. He understood the hidden message in his captain's words. He scrambles back to the engine room, whispering urgently to his companions, "The one coming for us. He's barefoot." They now have a weapon. They prepare a brutal, simple trap, spreading sharp, broken glass across the floor by the entrance. When Phillips is forced to lead Muse and his man toward the engine room, the trap is sprung. A sharp cry of agony rips through the corridor as Muse's companion steps directly onto the glass shards, his foot instantly mangled and bleeding. Now, the three of them are inside the engine room's entrance, the crew hidden somewhere in the vast, complex space. And just then, the emergency lights flicker and die, plunging them into absolute, suffocating blackness. The crewman outside has succeeded. He has shut down the generator. Muse is enraged. What is happening? He screams into the dark. I don't know anything. I'm right here with you. Phillips says, feigning ignorance. We should go back up. We can't find anyone in this darkness. But Muse is defiant. I will find your friends, he snarls. The pirate with the injured foot, however, is now crying out in pain, a liability Muse can't ignore. The distraction forces his hand. Take him upstairs, he orders Phillips. I will find your crew myself. As Phillips helps the injured pirate back up, Muse is left alone, stalking through a darkness he does not understand. But this is the crew's territory. They are phantoms in their own machine. In a stunning reversal, they emerge from the shadows and overpower him. They capture the leader. Meanwhile, in a control room, Phillips and the injured pirate hear a new voice crackle over the radio. It's the crew broadcasting from the engine room, their tone strong and in control. The hunters have become the hunted. Their message is a stunning ultimatum to the remaining pirates. Your leader is with us. If you want him to stay alive, you will have to release Captain Phillips and his men. Stunned, his world turned upside down, Captain Phillips gets on the radio to talk to his captor, who is now a captive himself. Speaking into the radio, Captain Phillips's voice is a steady, commanding presence in the chaos. He is negotiating not as a victim, but as a man in control. I know your boat is gone, he says to the pirates. We can give you our lifeboat. You can also take the $30,000 on this ship. Just in this game, right here. A tense silence hangs in the air, stretched to its breaking point. Then, Muse's voice crackles back. He agrees to the deal. A wave of relief washes over the bridge. It seems the nightmare is finally over. Captain Phillips carefully counts out the $30,000. He walks one of the three pirates through the complex procedure of operating the lifeboat, showing him how to launch it safely into the sea. The plan is in motion. It's time. Release Muse, the crew demands. Muse is set free. He walks calmly toward the lifeboat and steps inside. For a heart-stopping moment, it seems he will honor the deal. But then, he glances back at his companion. It's a look so subtle, so fleeting, it's almost invisible. But it's a signal. The instant the signal is given, the pirate behind Phillips attacks, smashing the butt of his gun into the captain's back. Phillips crumples in pain as they drag him into the lifeboat. The heavy door slams shut, plunging him into darkness and sealing his fate. With a lurch, the lifeboat drops into the sea. In a stunning act of betrayal, the four pirates have kidnapped Captain Phillips. They're taking him away. But on the bridge of the Maersk Alabama, his crew watches in horror. They refuse to let him vanish. The massive cargo ship begins to move, a loyal giant chasing the tiny orange safety boat across the vast, empty ocean. They will not let their captain be swallowed by the horizon. The news travels fast. The U.S. Navy is alerted, and soon, the silent specter of a drone appears high in the sky. Its cameras are locked onto the lifeboat, watching every move as it speeds relentlessly toward Somalia. The pirates' plan is simple. Get to their lawless homeland and demand a massive ransom from the captain's company. Inside the claustrophobic lifeboat, however, things are falling apart. The pirates' supply of drugs is running out, and the thin veneer of their discipline begins to crack. Tension skyrockets. They turn on each other, their fear and addiction making them volatile and unpredictable. Suddenly, a voice, calm and powerful, crackles from their radio. It's the commander of a U.S. Navy warship that has now raised to their position. The four pirates are paralyzed with fear. "We will let you go." The commander's voice says, a clear offer of mercy. "Just release Captain Phillips." Terrified, one of the pirates stammers into the radio, "We are not terrorists. We are ordinary fishermen." But their greed is stronger than their fear. They will not release their prize. "We will leave Captain Phillips only when you give us $10 million. The commander's voice remains steady. "That is not so easy," he replies, buying time. "It will take a while. But until then, we want to give you food and water." It's a baited hook, but the pirates are desperate. They're short on everything. They agree. Moments later, two small, fast U.S. Navy boats cut through the waves, heading directly for them. "We want to see Captain Phillips first," the Navy's voice commands over the radio, a non-negotiable demand. The pirates, unnerved, drag Captain Phillips out into the harsh daylight, squinting toward the distant gray shape of the warship. Phillips's first thought is not of himself. "Does my family know where I am?" he asks, his voice thick with a desperate need for connection. "Yes," the Navy officer replies, his tone softening for a moment. "We are giving him updates every moment." Then, Phillips does something brilliant. Knowing the pirates are listening, he speaks a message meant only for the ears of his rescuers. "Tell my family I'm on seat number 15 in the lifeboat." It's a desperate, coded message, a piece of intelligence offered from inside the trap. But the fragile negotiation shatters. Muse's companion, seeing his leader talking to the Navy, becomes paranoid. He fires a single, deafening shot that cracks the air near Captain Phillips's ear. "Get inside," he screams at Muse. "You don't need to be talking to them so much." Hearing the gunshot, the Navy immediately recalls their boats. The line goes silent. After a tense pause, the radio crackles back to life. A new, urgent question: "Is Captain Phillips okay?" "I'm fine," Phillips confirms, his ears still ringing. Night has fallen, a suffocating blanket of darkness that brings them closer to their terrifying destination. Soon, they will reach Somalia. If they make it to that lawless shore, all hope is lost. The U.S. Navy, the Army, no one will be able to find Captain Phillips. In a moment of pure desperation, Phillips knows he has to act. "I have to go to the toilet," he tells Muse. They let him, but send the pirate with the injured foot to stand guard outside the tiny enclosure. This is it. This is his one desperate chance. In one explosive movement, Captain Phillips shoves the unsuspecting pirate into the water and then plunges himself into the cold, dark sea. He swims for his life, a frantic splash in the immense blackness, heading for the distant lights of the U.S. Navy ships. On the warship, they detect the disturbance. Two people in the water. But in the disorienting darkness, they can't get a clear visual. And before the Navy can take any action, before a rescue boat can reach him, the pirate lifeboat is upon him. Muse's hand reaches down and drags him from the water, back into the nightmare. He is captured once again. But now, a new, lethal presence has entered the game. U.S. Navy SEALs, descending from a helicopter, have surrounded their lifeboat from all sides. The trap is now absolute. "No matter what you do," the commander's voice states with chilling finality, "you will not be allowed to go to Somalia. Release Captain Phillips, and we will let you go." But the pirates know it's a hollow promise. They know this ends in only one of two ways. In a final, desperate act, Muse drags Captain Phillips out at gunpoint, a human shield against the world's most elite soldiers. "If anyone tries any trick," he screams into the radio, his voice cracking with terror and rage, "I will kill this captain." Then, another officer's voice comes over the radio, calm and piercing. It's a psychological blow. "We have spoken to your boss," he says. And then, he strips away their anonymity, reading out the full names and identification of all four pirates. He tells them they know who they are, where they are from. "We are ready to make a deal," the officer says. "But one of you has to come to our ship." Stunned, his identity exposed, his options gone, Muse agrees to go. The next moment, two U.S. Navy boats glide through the dark water. They reach the lifeboat, and with practiced efficiency, they tie a rope to it. With the lifeboat secured by a rope, the Navy's control is absolute. As they tow it closer, they plant a listening device on the hull, transforming the pirate's vessel into a listening post. Every whispered threat, every panicked breath is now heard. The Navy gives Captain Phillips a clean uniform, a small gesture of returning his identity, and tells him to sit back down. Then, they lead Muse away, swallowed by the warship. The first part of the trap is set. Suddenly, massive floodlights on a U.S. ship roar to life, bathing the tiny lifeboat in an impossibly bright, blinding glare. The three remaining pirates are robbed of their vision, trapped in a bubble of harsh white light. On the deck of the warship, Navy SEAL snipers struggle to get a clear shot through the chaos. Not all three pirates are in their sights. The tow rope continues to pull the lifeboat in. The pirates inside don't suspect a thing. Why would they? They still hold the captain. They believe a deal is about to be made. But Captain Phillips knows better. He can feel the air crackling with a deadly electricity. He knows this is the end. He believes he is not going to survive this. With trembling hands, he begins to write a desperate, final letter to his family. But he is seen. The discovery ignites a furious argument among the pirates. All trust has evaporated. In a surge of violent panic, they overpower Phillips, binding his hands tightly. They shove a rough blindfold over his eyes, stealing his last connection to the world. They understand now, a deadly game is being played, and they are the pawns. The most volatile of them, the leader of the remaining three, makes a terrifying decision. He will execute Phillips. The other two pirates hesitate. They will crumbling in the face of murder, but it's too late. The American snipers, watching through their scopes, still only have two of the men in their crosshairs. Then comes the quiet, firm order to the tow line. Stop the pull. The sudden halt creates a sharp jolt, a violent shock that throws the men in the lifeboat off balance. In that single, chaotic moment, all three pirates are thrown in a perfect alignment, and the snipers, with ice-cold precision, take the shot. 3 rounds fired as one. All three pirates fall. Moments later, an explosion blows the lifeboat's door off its hinges. Seals swarm the vessel, moving through the smoke to reach Captain Phillips. They rip the blindfold from his eyes and cut the ropes from his hands. He is alive, but adrift in a sea of profound shock. His life has been saved. With this, the ordeal ends. Muse, the leader who was captured by the U.S. Navy, was later sentenced to 33 years in prison. He is still there today. This was the true story of Captain Richard Phillips, which happened in 2009. In 2013, a film was made based on his story, Captain Phillips. This film has a rating of 7.8 on IMDb. Its budget was $55 million, and it earned $220 million at the box office. Hope you liked this true story.